My parents want my sister to walk down the aisle at my wedding first, so my husband pretends to go along. He gets them to pay for the most expensive wedding, and their plan is ruined. My parents loved my sister more. It wasn't subtle either. If my sister accused me of something, they'd believe her and punish me. If I accused her, they wouldn't believe me, even with undeniable proof. My birthday cake had to be a flavor she liked, but hers didn't have to accommodate me. My parents always denied knowing I disliked certain cakes. They always bought her a bit more than me. Events meant for me would revolve around her preferences. My sister grew up spoiled and treated me like a punching bag. When I was nearing graduation, my mom informed me that since they were paying for my sister's college tuition, they couldn't afford mine. She suggested I start working right after graduation and wait until my sister finished to see if they could afford to help me. If I stayed home, I'd have to pay rent and some bills. I suggested student loans, but she said they'd decide if any college was worth it. They had no faith in my abilities and didn't even know my grades. I'd been working toward college for years. With no social life to distract me, I studied constantly. To me, college was freedom. When the time came, I worked hard and earned a full scholarship. Not Ivy League, but to a solid school. Knowing my sister would try to stop me through my parents, I announced my achievement on social media and thanked them in the post. They couldn't do anything about it. College became my escape, where I was finally happy. During this time, I met my husband. He's someone who doesn't let slights go unanswered. He loves resolving drama, sometimes with a flair for revenge. When we discussed marriage, we decided to have a simple ceremony and focus our budget on a dream European honeymoon. After announcing our engagement, my parents demanded to meet him. At the meeting, my parents and sister grumbled about my judgment and disapproved of my husband. Then they made a shocking offer. They would pay for the wedding, but only if my sister got to walk down the aisle first, in a wedding dress, to simulate the experience of being the older sister. My husband played along, pretending to agree. He told them I hated conflict, so if surprised on the day, I might not make a scene. They agreed, and he subtly turned the tables on them. From then on, he and I schemed to milk them. At every decision point, we feigned budget limitations, knowing my sister would demand the best. For example, we'd pick the cheapest menu option, and my husband would secretly bring my sister to try it, lamenting that we couldn't afford the best. My sister would insist my parents upgrade everything. This tactic worked for the photographer, flowers, and more. For the dress, my parents tried to pick something hideous for me, but they didn't know we'd hired security. The day of the wedding arrived. The plan was for my sister to arrive in a wedding dress and walk down the aisle first. My parents assumed I wouldn't object publicly. However, we instructed security to prevent my sister from entering. Guests noticed a woman at the entrance with a list of names, ensuring only invited guests got in. My parents didn't suspect anything. When the time came, my dad stood up to wait for my sister's cue. But instead, the bridal song started, and I walked down the aisle. My dad looked horrified. He glanced behind me, confused, but couldn't see the entrance from the venue. Then his phone rang. It was my sister. He mumbled, something came up, and left. Guests whispered as I walked down the aisle with my husband's dad stepping in to escort me. His quick thinking made me smile despite the tension. Meanwhile, at the entrance, my sister arrived in a wedding dress and tried to enter. Security blocked her, and she threw a tantrum, screaming and crying. My parents accused my husband of agreeing to the plan, but he denied it and demanded proof, which they couldn't provide. Guests who went to check on the commotion came back and told others. The humiliation for my parents and sister was delicious. My sister ended up on the floor, kicking and screaming, while my dad turned purple with anger. They were eventually escorted off the property. Afterward, my parents and sister tried to contact me. My husband insisted we keep a paper trail, which proved to be wise. My sister messaged me, blaming me for her embarrassment and calling my husband a manipulative snake. My husband screenshot her messages, along with call logs and texts from my parents demanding I pick up. He sent everything to our family group chat, asking for help to stop their harassment. The rest of the family assured us they'd handle it, and we've had silence since. While I wish I had a normal, loving family at my wedding, for once, they failed to ruin something meaningful to me. Watching them face the consequences of their actions was one of the best wedding gifts I could have received.